Hello.
Hello.
Good morning. So when I was in meditation just now, or sometimes I'm not in meditation, even though I'm trying to be in meditation, not in meditation. And when I was in training at Unity Village in training meditation class, we had a great teacher, and he used to tell us, imagine the imaginary thread, the crown of your head to the ceiling, etc., and your thoughts as they wander and stray are like little puppies that just wander away, and you gently guide them back, and, guide them back and guide them back. So I was thinking of that as in the silence of the puppies, which then made me think of my puppies. And, did I tell you all I have puppies? Here's my puppies, look. Are they the cutest puppies? And I know you all probably had cute, but these are the cutest puppies ever. Rio and Bello, and I brought them back from Brazil, Joe and I. So yesterday on my Facebook page, someone posted, silence is golden unless you have puppies, in which case be very, very suspicious. And that is the truth. Because when I can't hear them, I know something's going on, and it's usually chewing things and things like that. So anyway, today I'm here to, I think I titled this talk, "Let Me Entertain You." And the reason for that is we talk about thoughts and holding ideas and holding space and all those types of things. And I was thinking the other day about being in school and learning things and learning classifications in biology. And everyone probably has their own mnemonic for kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species, variety. And poor Karen Polson, because kingdom, phylum, Karen Polson, got stuck with the mnemonic in my high school. So Karen Polson comes over for great secret visits. And forever and ever, Karen Polson will always be the mnemonic for that. And what broke down from that in my head when I was in school was we got to variety, and then it broke down into you were an academic, or you were a jock, or you were some other thing. And the one thing that I was classified as, when I used to go shopping with my mother for school clothes, was husky. Now, are there any other guys here who were husky? Husky? It was the most horrible invention of the 70s. Yes, they thought, this is great. We'll just, for the big kids, we'll call them husky. And not only did you go to the husky department to buy your clothes, they put it on your pants. So it said husky on your pants. So you were forever, and then, other kids know, you're husky. And I know, it's a terrible thing. But anyway, these are the classifications, and these are the dichotomies, and these are the separations, and these are all the things that we classify ourselves into, or we're classified into. And we actually do this to ourselves. We really do. We classify ourselves. And we classify ourselves in interesting ways. And the reason this is called "Let Me Entertain You" is it's about entertaining the idea. Because I was reading something the other day, and it said, will you entertain the idea? Now that is so much easier if someone says to you, will you entertain the idea that you can be completely healthy or you can be fit? Yeah, I can entertain the idea that I can be those things. And if we look at the definition of entertain, so here's one: to hold the attention of, pleasantly or agreeably, to divert or amuse. 2, to have a guest, provide food, lodging, show hospitality to. 3, to admit into the mind, to consider. 4, to hold in the mind, to harbor to cherish. Really important. And the archaic meaning of that is to maintain or keep up. So that's kind of interesting too. What was it originally? Just the status quo. So when we entertain, we like to entertain, Joe and I, in our house. We have dinner parties, and there's always a lot of preparation for that, running around and getting the flowers and deciding what the menu is. And, I'm never satisfied with the tablecloth I have, so there's a new tablecloth, or there's new this or new that. And, of course, you're cleaning the house and you're preparing. And part of that process is things disappear as we get ready, because it's kind of like the pre-party sweeps as I go through the house. I start to see the things that are there every day that I don't want there when my guests come over, because we want everybody to assume that I don't ever have these things sitting out in my house. Therefore, they get shoved in closets and drawers, like, oh, put that calorie scale away. I don't want people seeing that, or my Tylenol. Don't put the Tylenol away. Clear all surfaces. And so things get shoved in drawers. And I'm getting ready to move this week. I'm actually moving this week. And one of those things that I'm having to deal with is the drawers and closets where things get put, right? And so I'm very excited about my new house. It was built in 1888. And it's got a wonderful big basement. Just waiting. Just waiting. So I have a junk drawer. Does anybody have a junk drawer in their house? The junk drawer? If you don't, I don't know what you do. I really want to know what you do with the stuff, that extra stuff that goes in the junk drawer. And my partner's very organized, and he tries to organize. He organizes the junk drawer. Like when I'm away, usually up here doing some things like this, or speaking elsewhere, I'll come home and the junk drawer will have compartments, and it's organized, and that's senseless to me because, how is there a place for things you don't know where to put? So right now we're dealing with the drawers and closets and things that we've thrown elsewhere. And I have two friends, and I love them so much because when you go on a tour of their house, one of their favorite things to show you is their junk rooms. They are so awesome. You go and the house is perfect. And they're like, oh, you want a tour of the house? And you're like, yeah. So they take you upstairs. This is my daughter's room. Oh, it's so pretty. And then my friend Amy, who lives across the street, says, are you ready for my favorite room? I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. It's my junk room. And she opens it up, and it's a disaster. There's like stuff everywhere. It's like thrown in there. And she goes, isn't it awesome? Now, what I love about this is that she thinks it's awesome, and she shows you. Because it's like you instantly love her. I'm like, I love you. You're the best, most authentic person I've ever met in my life because, you're showing me your junk. And, yeah, I think it's great. Oh, wait, that sounded bad. Wow. And this had to be the talk that's on YouTube, my first one. Okay. Anyway, Amy, I'm sorry. So she's showing me the disorder. So anyway, part of that entertaining, is what we do to prepare, and we have to be aware, and we have to bless our behaviors, and that we hide those things and get ready, and we put out, get the stage set ready as part of our preparation. So we can obviously extrapolate that spiritually. What do we do in our lives as we prepare for prayer? We prepare for meditation, just like today I prepared for meditation, but the things pop into your head. And some weeks, I'm sure you sit here and you have the most wonderful, deep meditations, and some weeks your mind is all over the place, like mine, on Facebook and puppies and everything but meditation. But that's okay. That's okay, because we have to accept and bless those things too. So one of the things I consistently do, and it runs in my family when we entertain, is we do fabulous entertaining, and we do fabulous dinners. But I guarantee you, if you come to my house, there will be a point where I jump up from the table and get the rolls that are burning in the oven. Now, this goes back generations in my family. And every time I say, I'm not going to serve bread or rolls or whatever it is, and I still do, and I still burn them because it's the last thing that goes in, and I forget, suddenly there's smoke. But it's just become part of the whole process, and I accept the burning of the rolls as part of the joy of the experience. So the people that don't do things normally, if you don't abide by societal norms and do all the things that you're expected to do, we call them eccentric. They're eccentric. And one of the things I love as I get older is I really just want to be called eccentric. I really do. I want to be known as an eccentric person. He's so eccentric. And what's great about the word eccentric, what's eccentric is it's deviating from the center. That's eccentric. You're not necessarily in the center. So you're not rotating, you're not operating in the true center. You're deviating from the center. So now one of the things you need to realize is that the Earth is eccentric. The Earth is eccentric. We don't orbit in a circle. We rotate on a very wobbly axis. We orbit in an elliptical fashion. It's very irregular. I mean, the Earth kind of like hiccups along and wobbles, and then every so often it decides to reverse poles. I mean, seriously, I mean, you have to really think of this because this is where you live and you think, all nature is perfect and in harmony. Well, you really need to look at what the harmony is. The harmony is very irregular. So the more you accept the irregularity as harmony, the more you will see harmony in your life because all things are working together in their chaos. Chaos is working together in its eccentricity. So I want to share with you something from the Good News, the Bible, the Good News. And this is from Isaiah 21:5. And it says, "Look, they are preparing a great feast. They are spreading rugs for people to sit on. Everyone is eating and drinking, but quick! Grab your shields and prepare for battle. You are being attacked." So, what does that mean to us metaphysically? Because we're always trying to metaphysically interpret the Bible, because just as we set into those good thoughts and those good intentions, what comes next? The dichotomy. Everything unlike it just pops into our head. It's automatically there. It's just the way it is, because we really don't understand one thing without the other. So there's the tapes in your head that are telling you you're not the things that you want to be, or that you're desiring to be, or that you're intending to be, or that you're praying to be. And even in our storybook lands as children, Dorothy wakes up in Oz, or the children go into the chocolate factory, right? Or Alice goes to Wonderland. Now think about those places, really. Like you go in and it's like wonderful, but it's fraught with peril. Fraught with peril. Lions and tigers and bears and chocolate rivers and tubes and Mad Hatters, and there's all kinds of things hidden behind that veneer of wonderfulness. But ultimately on that hero's journey, you're moving your way through it, and you're getting to that place of enlightenment. And so what do we do in those places? We have to, like life, accept the teeter-tottery earth. We have to accept the eccentricity of our planet and our lives. And we have to bless it and incorporate it and say, this is just the way it is, and it's okay, and I'm okay with that. Because what is really, it's all dichotomy. We say separation. What is the dichotomy? What is happening? Shakespeare, it's the tragedy and the comedy. When I was in English literature class in college, my professor said there's 4 stories. Shakespeare told them all. There's 4 stories, and every story you'll hear from forever and ever is a version of those same 4 stories. Now, I'm not going to get into the 4 stories. Maybe if you come to class, I will get into those 4 stories. But it's a variation of 4 basic stories that we all have in our lives. And those things are just necessary. I mean, because dichotomy is necessary. So what does dichotomy mean? Dichotomy is division into 2 parts, subdivision into halves or pairs. But this is interesting. It comes from botany, and it's a mode of branching by constant forking, as in veins or leaves. But it's coming from one stem. It's coming from one thing. So dichotomy, those differences, the good and bad, the hot and cold, all of those things, it's all coming from unity. It's all coming from one. It's all coming from the same thing. So that's how we look at it. We look at it as coming from a common central thing. Now, since we're on the topic, and since I don't know if I mentioned that this week, most of you know right now I live in Cincinnati, but I'm moving across the river to Kentucky. I know. I'm right, really, Cincinnati's still there. But anyway, I don't know if any of you follow the news, and there was the creation versus the Bill Nyes. Everyone know this story? There was a debate. There's the Creation Museum, which is not that far away from where I'm moving, down the road. And I want to read you this article. So it's between the founder of the Creation Museum, which basically the thrust is that Adam and Eve were the precursors to all of us. And it started a mere 6,000 years ago. And evolution is just a lot of bunk. So his name is Ken Ham, and this is what it said on HuffPost. Ken Ham, the founder of the Creation Museum, who last month debated TV personality Bill Nye the Science Guy, pitting his biblical literalism against Darwinian evolution, says the highly publicized showdown has been like manna from heaven for a foundering $73 million Noah's Ark theme park. Now, this was my question anyway during the creation debate, because if we all came from Adam and Eve, right, and it was all 6,000 years ago, there was a huge reset around the time of Noah's Ark, right? I mean, so we like regressed in the progress. So it's not really anymore Adam and Eve. It's like, isn't it Noah? No. Right. Anyway, so the manna from heaven, and he says, it was a challenging time, one that on a human level required a miracle to overcome. And God in his providence supplied our needs. Now, obviously, it helped that, how many millions of people tuned into this, which then catalyzed the masses into a $62 million bond offering for the Noah's Ark Park. So where I'm going from that is, we all have our ideas about the beginning, about where it is that we came from. We come into this stratification and this diversification with varied beliefs. And it's important to some of us that we make others believe what we believe, because the root of that plant has to be what we say it is. Now, I manage a bookstore, and in my bookstore there's fiction and nonfiction. Now, people come in and they say, where is your nonfiction section? And I said, well, it depends on what you mean by nonfiction. I mean, I can take you over to the history section, which is nonfiction, or the politics section, which is nonfiction, or the biography section, which is nonfiction, or my favorite, the religion section, which is nonfiction. And over there in the religious section, there's a book that I was looking at this week. There's a couple books. The first one is why we have the right to religious freedom, and why that doesn't mean you can tell everybody else what to do. That's the first one. The second one is 20 explanations of other belief systems for Christians, okay? So I'm flipping through, and I get to the section where we are, and we're under the category New Age, because they can't get it, and so we're in one big lump, which is fine, I don't really care. But anyway, the title of the chapter is The Serpent in Disguise. The Serpent in Disguise. And you start reading it, and basically about 3 paragraphs in, it says these people have the audacity to believe that God is within them. I mean, I'm just thinking, really? I mean, and this is in my nonfiction section, so I have issues with this. I really do. I have issues, because it's labeled nonfiction, it's in the nonfiction section, and that's just the way things are classified. So truth, fact, is classified. Adam and Eve is classified by somebody as the truth, right? So we need to declassify all information in our lives and make it relative to the universal truth, to the infinite truth. Because, the new age as a serpent in disguise, it's all relative, right? Our truths and our classifications, even within society, TV advertisements for drug companies and all those kinds of things. And I really think that because in politics they have the equal time law between Republicans and Democrats opposing views, that there should be an equal amount of ads that say, do you not have restless leg syndrome? That's awesome. Are you not suffering from arthritis? Good for you. Do you not have any malady whatsoever? That is so perfect, and that's what you should believe. See, we don't have these things. And daytime television is really depressing as you watch game shows and talk shows. The commercials, my God, it's like one thing after the other. Were you injured in an accident? Do you need this drug? Do you need this thing? Do you need that thing? I mean, it's all just issues and problems that are bombarding you, and there's no positive reinforcement that's out there that's just telling you that you are these things. So our nature is, the way our brains work is, it's survival. And what it is that we need to do to survive and get through all of these obstacles in our lives. So when we entertain, to get back to that, when we entertain, we don't invite people, unless they're family, that we don't really want at our dinner party. My aunt passed away a couple weeks ago, and it's very sad. She was, she was 80-some years old, and my cousins were there, and as often does, it becomes a big family reunion. So what I love about that is that very thing, because you look around the room and you think, I would never pick these people, ever. I would never pick these people in a million years, but they are me. I come from this stem. I do. I am a dichotomy of these people right here in all their glory. My aunt in the corner with her wig like slightly crooked. Yeah. And they're all calling me Scotty, which, there's only them call me that. And, it's fascinating. Oh, and then my family always feels the responsibility to bless my life once again. No, I mean, bless my life and all that's in it. 25 years later. How's your buddy? How's your buddy? You got to get your buddy. And I'm like, well, my buddy's name is Joe. And how long have you been with your buddy? 14 years. Well, you need to bring that buddy up here to visit us. I'm like, okay. And just know that it's okay. I'm like, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. So when we entertain, we don't invite people that we don't want, unless they're family. Sorry for that tangent. We don't invite people unless they want, but unless we really want them there. or we want interesting conversation. And so we don't want to do that in our lives and in our thoughts, but unexpected and uninvited guests show up nonetheless, and we have to deal with them. So I'm going to finish because I'm probably at 20 minutes or more. So how do we deal with all of these things in our life? How do we deal with the unexpected guests? How do we deal with all the classifications? What is it that we're going to do with our crazy family, with our inner children? Are we going to set a place at the table for them? Well, when it comes to us, here's my advice. You have to. You just have to. Because while we'd like to, in New Thought, think that we can just entertain who we want to, the truth is, it's our family. You can no more get rid of your Aunt Dolly with the crooked wig and my cousin screaming child than you can these other parts of you that are in your life. Your shadow self. All of these are part of you. They're part of you, and they're part of our earth. They're part of its crooked rotation and its eccentric orbit. They're part of its deserts and its typhoons and its hurricanes and its volcanoes and its natural disasters. It's all a part of it. And it doesn't attempt to deny its nature. It doesn't attempt to stratify it and classify it and call it bad. It just is. And in that isness, we find peace. And that's the peace that passes all understanding. That is the peace, those parts of ourselves that we try to push away, that we say aren't good enough. They are. They are a part of you. They just are. That husky boy is still here. He's still here. No matter how thin I ever got, the husky child is always with me. And I love that husky child. I do. So love those parts of yourselves. Love them all and make it who you are. Let it bless you. Rejoice in them because it's that diversification, that difference, those eccentricities that make you so wonderful, that make you such a unique divine expression. And that's why you're here, to know that and bless that. Thank you.